So hello there everyone and welcome, it is Niran here, and today it is time for yet another FIFA 17 career mode experiment video. Today we are checking out what happens when we see Ultimate Team Legends on career mode. I haven't perfected the title yet, but basically we're going to put Ultimate Team Legends onto career mode. I've created some of the players and we're going to see what happens in a career mode. We're going to sim through some seasons, see if they make some transfers or whatever they do in their careers. Now I haven't made them ridiculously young because obviously basically what I've done is I've copied the attributes off their Ultimate Team cards, but if I made them all young they'd all grow to like 99. So I've made them like 26, although I think for some reason one of them's 31. But you can see that we've got the players, we've got Bobby Moore here. I've tried to make sure that the players are playing for the team that they're most known for playing for, if you know what I mean. So Bobby Moore obviously synonymous with West Ham, 86 rated. I've literally copied every single attribute properly from their Ultimate Team cards, yet barely any of them actually have the right overall. Whatever the circumstance, we've got Franz Beckenbauer after that, but we've got to call him Franz in terms of his known as, because Beckenbauer doesn't fit. Again, yet another flaw of the created player system. But got Franco Baresi as well, centre back. He's 93 rated, I think. Oh no, 92 rated, sorry, on Ultimate Team, but despite having the exact same attributes that he has on Ultimate Team, he's only 89 rated. Load to Mataus as well, or Mateus, 89 rated defensive midfielder. Ruud as well here, he's playing for Milan. He's synonymous for playing for a lot of teams. We chose Milan in the end. 87 rated, and he's an attacking mid because he can't make player centre mids. I've also got George Westy, he's playing for Manchester United. You can see his attributes there down the right hand side for the Northern Irishman. Their values are ridiculous as well. Of course we've got Pelé as well, we've given him to Santos. For some reason, again, he's not 95 rated, he's merely 90 rated, but still. Marco van Basten is also 90 rated and playing for Ajax. He's 31, which is a bit annoying. I accidentally made him too old. George Weah as well, the Liberian striker, African Player of the Year, countless times, won the Ballon d'Or. We've given him to Paris or PSG, although he is again synonymous for playing for AC Milan as well. And then finally, Dennis Bergkamp of Arsenal. I wasn't able to do every Ultimate Team Legend because you've got to understand how long it takes to actually create a player, let alone create a player with like sort of specific attributes. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to sim to the end of a season, and then we're going to trace these guys, see what they did in Europe or in their respective leagues, see how they've changed in terms of overall or attributes or whatever. Quickly before we get into it though, got to give a quick shout out to BFordLancer48, who's the first person that I saw do this type of video. He did a video about what happens if Pelé is in FIFA 17 career mode, so you can drop that video a watch or a like and subscribe to BFord in the description. I would highly suggest doing so. He hit 100,000 subscribers recently and is very much deserving of a title as such. So now obviously when it comes to Pelé, Pelé is a difficult one because obviously we can't really check anything in terms of his attributes or his stats, because he won't be playing in Europe, whereas some of the players are obviously playing in the Premier League, or they're playing at least in Europe, so we can trace what they're doing in the Champions League or Europa League and how their team has done in their respective country. Whereas because Pelé is playing for Santos, there's not really much we can do in terms of seeing how many goals he scores. So if he doesn't sign for anyone probably after Season 2, we'll sign him ourselves if we've got the money, and we'll try and bring him in, and then at least we can trace his progress in the Premier League in terms of scoring goals. Right, so we've reached the end then of season number 1, and we're going to take a look at the players in the shortlist. All 10 of them are still in the shortlist, which means none of them have signed for a new team, as far as I'm aware, but I've seen some changing value, so I think some of them have grown. Bobby Moore has gone up to an 88 rating, so Franz Beckenbauer's a 91 now, playing for Bayern Munich. Baresi's 91 as well. Lothar Matthaus is 91, so all of these have grown by 2 in this first season, I believe. Ruud is now 88, playing for Milan. George Best has gone up by 1. He's 90 rated now. Pelé is now 91, playing for Santos. I really wish we could see his stats in Brazil, because he must have absolutely ripped it up, as he would have done back in the day as well. Marco van Basten's actually declined by 2. That's because of his age. Again, that's sort of my mistake, really, but he's 32 years of age now, and he's 88 rated. George George Weah's gone up by 1 for Paris. He's 87 rated now. And Dennis Bergkamp has also gone up by 1, sorry. So looking at the top scorers list in England, we can see that one of the players, one of the FUT Legends has managed to make it into the top 25. Dennis Bergkamp for Arsenal managed to score 10 goals. Dennis Bergkamp is also top of the assist list, so it's been an amazing season for him. Top scorers list in the Champions League. Are there any of the FUT Legends featuring the top 25? Yes, there are. George Weah got 4 goals for Paris Saint-Germain. So season 2 has come to a close now. Once again, no signings being made in terms of these guys changing clubs, but again, a bit of growth. We'll go through what they've done in terms of themselves in, you know, their stats and goals scored or whatever, and then see how their teams have done it in their respective leagues. Bobby Moore once again has improved. He's now 90 rated and is just a complete and utter animal. Franz Beckenbauer as well, 99 marking, 98 short passing, 97 long passing, 99 reactions as well for him. He's now 93 rated and playing for Bayern. Franco Baresi is also 93 rated as well, and similarly awesome, 99 on both of his tackling attributes. Lothar Matthäus is 93 rated as well, playing for Bayern Munich, so he's just looking absolutely ridiculous and still growing as well, which is weird because he's 28. You wouldn't have thought these guys would be growing as much. Ruud, 89 rated, 28 years of age, playing for Milan. AC Milan must be absolutely killing Serie A. George Best has gone up again. He's 91 rated, playing for Manchester United, which I think is above his legend card now. Pelé's gone up again, 92 rated, but interestingly still playing for Santos. Marco van Basten, 84 rated, he's dropping now because he's 33 years of age. George Weah, the Liberian, 88 rated striker, playing for Paris Saint-Germain still, and Dennis Bergkamp is 87 rated. He's the only player that we saw really prominently in the top 25 lists in terms of personal accolades last season, so we'll have to see whether that is the same sort of situation this time round. Okay, so this time around in terms of top scorers list, we've got... right, okay, I've realised what's happened here. Right, Nottingham Forest. This was pointed out in the last experiment video, I think, or a video that I've done recently where De Bruyne, Hazard and Mahrez were playing for Nottingham Forest. Right, the reason for that is I'm using current customised, and for some reason they're playing for Nottingham Forest on current customised. I think it's because I did hometown heroes with those players and used Nottingham Forest, and I haven't changed it since, so that clears that up. Anyway, George Best is on the top 10 in terms of top scorers this time. He didn't feature at all last time. He got 12 goals, so did Dennis Bergkamp as well with 12 goals. In terms of the assists as well, George Best in third on that as well with 8, and Dennis Bergkamp is nowhere. I know he's in 22nd, he got 5. So it's a good season really overall, isn't it, to be quite honest with you, for the guys in the Premier League. Van Basten as well, Marco van Basten is also present on the assist list. In the Champions League, he's got 3. I don't know if there's any other FUT Legends on this partner. There isn't. In terms of the top scorers list, I don't think there's anyone on here either. George Best and George Weah are right at the bottom with 4 apiece. Looking at the French League, Lyon actually won the Ligue 1 despite George Weah playing for Paris. Over in Germany, Bayern unsurprisingly keeping up their dominance, especially with the 2 new FUT Legends they have on their side. And in Italy, despite Milan's very much increased like sort of ability or the quality of their side, Juventus still won the league from Napoli in second, but Milan were only 2 points off the title. Well, we've signed Pelé. Season 3 then has been and gone. It's time to go through these guys once again. Only 9 players on the shortlist, of course, now because we signed Pelé. Bobby Moore, there you can see playing for West Ham, still has gone up again. Franz Beckenbauer and Franco Baresi of Bayern and Milan respectively are both 95 rated, which I think would be the joint highest rating on the game of anyone, along with Neymar, so they've somehow ended up better than Pelé. Lothar Matthäus as well, 94 rated defensive mid, playing for Bayern, so they've got him and Franz Beckenbauer now. Surely they are nailed on to win every Champions League ever. Ruud Gullit though, playing for Milan, of course. Milan have got a ridiculous side now. He's 89 rated. Look at those technicals. Only slide tackling isn't a dark green stat. In fact, he's only got 3 attributes that aren't dark green in total. George Best, 91 rated right right forward, playing for Manchester United now. Interestingly, Marco van Basten isn't even scouted anymore, so he's dropped, I think, probably below 80 rated. George Weah there, 88 rated, playing for Paris Saint-Germain still, and Dennis Bergkamp is 87 rated, playing for Arsenal still. Once again, we'll take a little look at the player list. Pelé is in 5th place, playing for ourselves, 17 goals on his debut season. But in terms of goals, George Best is in 4th, joint with his teammate Pogba. He got 7 goals in the Champions League campaign. George Weah as well for PSG got 5 goals, so he sat there in 15th. The Premier League this year was won by Dennis Bergkamp's Arsenal, so they grabbed the 71 points, and Liverpool, despite having Pelé, only came 11th in the league and out of the out of any sort of European competition. George Weah's PSG won the French league by a ridiculous tally, getting 99 points, only 1 away from 3 digits, and they only lost once. Over in Germany, Lothar Matthäus and Franz Beckenbauer won the league once again with Bayern Munich, and in Italy, AC Milan, are getting ever closer to winning the league in terms of position, but Juventus still won it with 94 points. So just quickly as well, Pelé's Liverpool won the Europa League against Dennis Bergkamp's Arsenal when it comes to the FUT Legends, so at least the Brazilian helped us win a trophy, even if we still only came 11th in the domestic league. We're at the end of Season 4 now, and these guys are still growing in overall, despite being 30 years of age. It must be something to do with the fact they're creative players, but Bobby Moore is now 94 rated. Franz Beckenbauer is 97. Franco Baresi's 96. They're now at least distinguishable now. They used to be exactly the same player, really. Lothar Matthäus is 94 rated, 30 years of age now. I think he's reached the peak now. Ruud Gullit is still 88 rated, so he stayed the same for Milan. George Best has now declined. He's gone back down to 90 rated for Manchester United, of course, still very good. Marco van Basten's properly on the way down now. His speed is horrendous, and he's now 75 rated at 35 years of age. George Weah is still 88 rated, playing for Paris Saint-Germain, is the striker, and Dennis Bergkamp is still 87 rated, playing for Arsenal. Taking a look then at the goal scoring list, Pelé is in P3 behind only Ahmed Musa and Jonathan Calleri of West Ham. Pelé scoring 15 goals in the season. Dennis Bergkamp scored 14 goals for Arsenal as well, so he appears in the top 10, and George Best is in the top 14 as well with 12. In terms of the assists list, we'll have a look and see if anyone's on there. Pelé is in the top 15 there, in 11th. As far as the Champions League is concerned, Marco van Basten, despite being 35 years of age and very much on the decline, got 3 assists this season in the Champions League. George Weah as well, again appearing. I don't think there's been a season where he hasn't appeared in one of these charts for Paris Saint-Germain. George Weah again in that one too, in the top 10. He got 6 goals in the season for Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League. Pelé is there as well. He grabbed 7 goals for Liverpool. Over in France, Paris Saint-Germain once again dominating. Again, not getting 3 figures, but did get 96 points across the season. Bayern again winning in Germany thanks to Franz Beckenbauer now being 97 rated. And once again, Milan didn't win in Italy. In fact, they severely underachieved. Only 8th place. Just realised as well I've been forgetting to check the Netherlands and how Ajax were doing. So Marco van Basten's Ajax won the league, and I suspect they probably won the league a few times before now as well. So then in this season, the Champions League was won by Bayern. So Franz Beckenbauer and Lothar Matthäus as Bayern Munich won the Champions League in this season. Unsurprising, they actually beat George Best's United, in the semi-finals, and George Weah's PSG went out in the semis as well. Right then, we're into 2021, and that means the end of season number 5, and this is going to be the final season that I show you guys of these legends, because we can't keep going on forever. Obviously, these guys are going to start declining. You can see Bobby Moore here, 94 rated, still playing for West Ham, and still got some ridiculous attributes down the right-hand side. Franz Beckenbauer is still 97 rated, would you believe? Again, Franco Baresi stayed the same as well, 96 rated, playing for Milan. Lothar Matthäus, 94 rated still, defensive midfielder playing for Bayern Munich as well, like Franz is. Ruud Gullit has started to decline, he's gone down by 1. George Best has gone down again as well, he's now 89 rated, but hasn't deteriorated too much in terms of his physicals. Only his strength, I think, has gone down. His sprint speed and acceleration are still pretty high. Marco van Basten is retiring at the end of the season. He's retiring now at the age of 36 and at 70 rated for Ajax. George Weah has also gone down by 1 now for Paris Saint-Germain, worth 60 million though still. Dennis Bergkamp though has gone down by 2 this season. He's now back down where he started at 85 rated and 31 years of age. So the English League was won by Nottingham Forest because again they've still got some of the ridiculous players from their Hometown Heroes series. In terms of the teams with legends, Dennis Bergkamp, despite going down, still guided Arsenal to P4. Manchester United with George Best are in P5, and despite having Pelé, we are still underachieving in terms of Liverpool being down in P8. In France, again, it's becoming less dominant, but they're still winning the league, are Paris Saint-Germain, so George Weah lifts his 3rd Ligue 1 title in a row. Over in Germany, and again Bayern have won the league, but again not too dominant, this time Bayer Leverkusen coming within 3 points of them. And in Italy, once again, Milan are the bridesmaid, but not the bride, because Juventus won Calcio A. In terms of the Champions League, then, it was all a French affair in the final, but it was Lyon who came out on top over PSG, who of course actually won the French league. So despite George Weah again scoring quite a few goals across the Champions League campaign, his team did not lift the Champions League trophy despite knocking out the previous winners Bayern Munich in the quarter-final. So finally though, we'll just have a little look at the player stats for the respective leagues. Looking then at the Premier League, the highest FUT legend is Pelé once again in the top 10 for a 3rd season in a row since joining. He grabbed 15 goals and is 8th on the list, but I don't think there's anyone else. In terms then of the top scorers in the Champions League, George Weah again. It's incredible. The guy's a goal machine. He's scored 5 goals again. I'm going to bring this experiment though to a close here. I feel like we've gone through enough seasons, and unfortunately a lot of these players aren't particularly joining other teams, which is something I would really like to see, you know, them sort of, tracing them as they move to different sides. That would have been quite cool to see, but unfortunately that is not the case. But it has definitely brought some of these FUT legends some trophies and some silverware in the modern era. I don't know, I probably should have done a silverware counter to see how many trophies were won by the FUT legends across the 5 seasons. I might even do that in editing and drop it in the comment section as well or something if you want to see that. But nevertheless, that is basically the end of proceedings. If you did enjoy this FIFA 17 experiment, then feel free to smash the likes button and subscribe if you are new to the channel. Comment about enjoying the video if you enjoyed it that much. But it has been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a fantastic day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.
Yo, biddy bang, biddy boo. Man can't fuck with the Nottingham crew. Put 1, 2, 9 holes in the queue. Wanna ride on me, you better change that route. I'm a lyrical animal straight out of the zoo. Big mic man, big like Big Zoo. 15 going OT on my own, done it all alone. I never been a bring true. KYE, the hardest YG, my G, better know he kicks like Kung Fu. Try me, you must have won some food.